From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 12th, 2015. Silver is trading at $15.86 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,177 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $233. Antiwar.com reports before the Islamic State had formally split from al-Qaeda, there was talk about good al-Qaeda versus bad al-Qaeda in Syria, centering around the Islamic State as the more extreme group and Jabhat al-Nusra as the slightly less extreme group. That sort of talk died on the vine as Nusra lost fight after fight to the Islamic State and became less relevant. Now, with al-Qaeda taking much of the Idlib province and setting up a little statelet of their own, there's a new push in the U.S. to endorse them as new allies against the Islamic State. It's the Hitler v. Stalin thing all over again, and hawks, desperate for a successful ally on the ground in Syria, are desperately trying to rebrand al-Qaeda, of all groups, as the lesser of two evils, and hoping to repair the terrorist group's image domestically, which is still considerably tarnished after 9/11. Can it really work, though? After over a decade of war against al-Qaeda, and with no intervening period of calm, it is hard to imagine that the administration, or anyone else, is going to be able to sell a de facto alliance with al-Qaeda as the lesser of two anythings, let alone a plan for winning Syria. Underscoring exactly what a tough sell this is going to be, al-Qaeda is on the warpath in its newly conquered territory, attacking a Druze village and killing at least 20 civilians there. Attacks on religious minorities are every bit as common in al-Qaeda as they are in the Islamic State Caliphate, and that reflects the reality that Jabhat al-Nusra is the same old al-Qaeda. For over 35 years, Robertson Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or online at rrbi.co. UPI reports China's officially appointed head of Tibetan Buddhism said he supported the unity of the People's Republic and that he would align Tibet with the standards of the Chinese Communist Party. Gyaltsen Norbu, denounced as a fake by many Tibetans, is officially atheist. The pro-Beijing appointee, nonetheless, was selected as the 11th Panchen Lama in 1995 during Beijing's bid to win favor with Tibetans. Tibet's spiritual leader in exile, the Dalai Lama, had independently selected his own successor, a 6-year-old who was disappeared after Chinese authorities had him detained. Voice of America reports that the whereabouts of the boy who vanished 20 years ago are not known. Chinese state media reported during a meeting with Chinese President Xi on Wednesday, the 11th Panchen Lama presented a hada to the leader. Xi met with the Beijing-appointed Tibetan youth to reiterate the importance of China's diverse ethnic groups in hopes of actively integrating Tibetans into China's fast-driven development. China incorporated Tibet into the country 50 years ago and has called the Buddhist kingdom the Tibet Autonomous Region since annexation. The 11th Panchen Lama's predecessor spent more than a decade in prison or under house arrest for his criticism of China's central government. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports government officials in North Carolina can refuse to perform same-sex marriages by citing religious objections under a new law enacted on Thursday by the Republican-led legislature, which voted to override the governor's veto. The law protects the jobs of magistrates and other officials who refuse to perform marriages of same-sex couples by citing a sincerely held religious objection. Governor Pat McCrory, also a Republican, had said the officials who swore to defend the Constitution and perform their duties of office should not be exempt from upholding their oaths. The State House of Representatives overrode the veto by reaching a 3/5 majority of 69 to 41. Utah approved a similar opt-out law earlier this year. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.